Hello, everybody. My name is Master Juniper Blue Mystique. Since 2019, I had my Kundalini awakening, and I've been doing things to the earth that pertain to the return of Christ. So, what I'm about to tell you doesn't just come from a space of asking, but also a space of knowing through the work that I've done. Okay. Big changes are coming. And so I am here today to bring you what is coming for 2025. What can we kind of expect going forward, even beyond, right? The thing about time with spirit is, ooh, I got chills. Time is not what you think it is. Okay, the false calendar system, the false time concept will also change and rearrange. Okay, number one, whew, going forward, the false time system and the calendars that you know, the seasons will change and rearrange. Okay. So even though I'm going to talk about 2025, I want you to understand that time is changing. Time is not what you think it is, and it will not stay the same. It is expanding. We are coming into more of an ethereal time frame where breath is what they call time. Okay? Breath, light, movement is accompanied with time. It's ethereal, it's quantum physics related because what I'm about to tell you, Spirit doesn't like to say, this day this is going to happen, this day this is going to happen. They don't do that because our time is a false system. Okay. And so things also move through free will and choices, right? And we are also in the end of ways outside of God. Christ has returned in the energy base through the work. Okay. Now I've predicted Trump would win. I didn't just predicted it. I didn't just predict it. We undid the pentagram. I undid the pentagram, the pentagon connection to the pentagram. I've undone the energy of the White House collection or collective through Kilimanjaro, through activating the pyramids that I've done. Okay. Um, I also predicted what was happening and what happened to the submersible. Do you remember that? Let me show you where to find these things because they are on my channel. Right before the presidency, I had mentioned who will win the presidency. Okay. That was right here. Who God says will win the election and upcoming events. I do believe it's right in the end of this video where I tell you Trump will win. But it also speaks of further upcoming events that are going to occur. Okay. Um, who God says will win the election. It was absolutely Trump. But not only that, right before I did that, we undid the money matrix. Okay, so this is kind of an indication of what's to come this year. But I did channel about, I don't know, a bunch of pages, and I have some interesting information I'm about to share with you. So stay with me, okay? It's very important. I undid the money matrix. Okay, false foundations will crumble. Karmic kickbacks will be applied because it's not judgment day of God going, you are wrong and you are right. It's we reap what we sow. We are creators. Okay. I undid the Sistine Chapel. All religion will fall. Okay. But if you watch this video within the Sistine Chapel, they held the cherub angels underneath there. They were trapped. They were trapped souls. And the cherubim angels actually used to protect the Garden of Eden. So that's all relevant. Okay, because I also birthed the new earth and all of that recently. That's also on here. Okay. All on this channel, you are going to find the return of Christ. All right. Birthing the new earth. It's important to watch these because as I birth the new earth, the only divide that's left is darkness from light. You cannot combine the two. We cannot be duality anymore. Okay. Also, I had done videos about who killed Tupac. Everything I've done wasn't just predictions, it was the work bringing it forward. What I do and who I am is I cause karma to rise. I brought back all of what was Christ, okay? Part two is planets. So these are your predictions and your indications truly of what's to come this year. I brought back new seasons. I changed the seasons. The new chakra system of the earth has been rebuilt and reborn and repurposed. And in these things, power lines will crumble, things like that. Now, in 2025 review, which is what I'm about to give you, that's what they're calling it, a year in review evaluation. That's what this I'm about to read to you, okay? Um, I did a 2025 predictions and spirit need to knows. All right. And there's some things in here that came through. Um, but I'm going to tell you number one is it's going to be bigger than we can fathom. And also, they want me to really say is that some of us are going to have different experiences than others. Okay? Some of us, and I also asked Spirit because during the work of Christ, during the activating the pyramids and everything that I've done on here, during the Nile, during bringing down the blood of Christ the first time, which was the portal of Garden Eden, during everything I've done, I've asked God, what is Judgment Day? If religion, was false and they lied and it was quite painful and we had to clear it out and it's a division, who Jesus and Horus was, like it's all here. Then what is Judgment Day? And God said, it's you reap what you sow day. It's the time of karmic return. But he said, some will go, some will stay, and some will never know life this way. Now, please stay with me because I asked him to explain what that means and what I got. Okay. Now, sometimes we want exactness. We want to hear details. But the thing about what's happening right now, you guys, is this is the end of ways. This is the biggest reset of mankind. So some of us are going to have different experiences than others. Okay. And that's what Judgment Day is heart reviews applied. And in day 8, all of the birthing the new earth right here. But day 8, this shows what the 3 days of darkness is. The 3 days of darkness is where those heart reviews are applied. Okay. Um, Rebirth, life cycle 888. It's the portal of life. And rebirth, the cycle of life. Okay. It's like a big thing that comes in. It's like a boom, flipping the switch of earth and of life. And that will it's important to watch it. Okay, it really is because it shows you and it's outside of our limited mind space. I channel all the things that I do. I'm a pure channel. Okay, super important to watch these things because if you really want to know what's coming, if you really are wanting to know what the return of Christ is, I couldn't make this stuff up if I tried. There's no way, or I would be one of the smartest persons I know. Okay, and I'm smart, but I don't know about that smart. Plus, it was quite painful. I almost died, and I did lose a DM doing it. My twin flame, as I was rising and uniting with him and clearing out all of the things, didn't make it. I also asked about the earthquake that happened yesterday in California. I said California is not safe. Mount Shasta was cleared and life support cut off a while ago. Okay. God is showing others I cleared Mount Shasta, cut off life support from California. Um, it falls into the ocean. So as I was clearing Mount Shasta part 1 and part 2, this one I need to put, hang on a second. Bear with me. This video is important, but bear with me, okay? And I'm also going to share this one in the communities tab so you guys can watch these because these are very important. Okay, so we had a 7.0 earthquake yesterday at Mount Shasta or at California, right? And I've said since the beginning of my work, since I was clearing Mount Shasta part 1 and part 2, which are all on my Return of Christ playbook work list and on this channel, and all the pyramid activations that I've done and everything is that the changes in tides will come in through San Francisco. That path has widened. Okay. That path has widened. So I will tell you that also. So God wants me to say that is that path has widened. Okay. The original wrath path has widened. And I talked about that when God bypassed some time and went ahead and had me implement the portals ahead of time. And that was shown. These are important, you guys. The work I do is very vast, it's very detailed. Everything I say is important. So if you want to know what's coming in 2025, these are important to watch. Okay. God shifted plans, portal of the Nile is now, urgent wrath path. Okay. 7 years tribulation, abrupt ending. We are now in the process of change. We are now in the process of life rearranging. Okay. Also, in my channel somewhere, I told you what would happen with the submersible, and that was right. So everything I've said, everything I've predicted, either drew it out from the collective karmic path or pre told you what was coming because I am everything, right? So I do psychically predict things. But not only did I tell you Trump wins and that he was going to win, I was also doing the return of Christ work. And even undoing all the power of the pentagram across the earth, all portals of darkness closed. Okay. But let me show you where to find out about how I predicted what was the submersible. Do you remember the submersible? God even had me predict that one. And I told you it on the submersible is that it will implode or it did implode, but also that something was under there with it. And I don't think they've said anything about that, but I saw it. I saw it. If you don't think creatures are in the ocean, they are, right? There's big, massive things in the ocean. So I'm not sure. Let's see if it'll search up submersible. There it is. Okay. So what I said happened to the submersible happened. Truth about the Ankh, the true cross, something big coming. Will submersible be found? Okay. And then what I said happened to the submersible happened. Breaking news. Because they found it like 24 hours later or something and it was imploded. Exactly what I said happened. So if I can predict those things, but I'm also doing the work. So I know everything I say is what it is. But I want you guys to realize is that we are creatures of habit. We are beings of needing to know all details, and spirit's not going to give you all details because we are going in different ways. And things have shifted since the beginning of doing the work. By the way, I painted this before I undid the Sistine Chapel. You see all the souls being released from the cross in the Bible. Yeah, that was in there. And I painted this before I did that. Okay. This was the Nile painting. You see the big volcano, you see the earthquake coming, and this is the bridge of San Francisco. All right, changes and tides are coming. And so I painted this, I don't know, a few months ago before I did the Sistine Chapel. Okay. But I want you guys to know something is that we are stuck on needing to know details, and what God is saying is it's outside of our head space. The more you tune into your heart space, the more time becomes irrelevant, and the more you just know, the more it will just be. Okay? And so wondering when you're wasting breath, time, because every moment you should be doing something to heal and rise. Okay. Every moment we should be doing something to heal, to come together, to look to more light. All right. Now I'm going to get into the year in review. 2025. Some interesting stuff came through, let me tell you. And I also asked what God meant by specifically by some will go, who will go? Some will stay, who stays? And some will never know life this way. That is what you call Judgment Day. Okay, still with me? You ready? Very important. Let's go. 2025. Whoa, whoa. What is coming? By the way, you guys, I was meditating yesterday after because I know a lot of people got really excited about the 7.0 earthquake and the possible tsunami coming in through San Francisco. Now, trust me, I did the work. And I'm like, oh, is it now? Like, is it happening now? And I know the wrath path has widened. Okay. And I know it'll never be when we think it's going to be. So I didn't really tune into those things. I didn't really want to pay attention to those things because you never know until it's going to be. But God did say that was a warning. Okay. I asked God specifically, like, what was that? And God said that's a warning to what's to come, a precursor, and a buildup. Okay. Because I do know I cut off life support to California. That is true. I undid Mount Shasta. Mount Shasta was very dark. It's not in this painting. It's actually in the painting up there that somebody else painted. That one, dun dun dun. You see all those souls coming out. Yeah, that was a prediction because that painting was done by somebody else before I did the work. They're like, I don't know what this means. And she painted it and sent it to me in my reading from my reading. And I actually freed a bunch of souls out of Mount Shasta. Then I returned the root chakra back to Fiji. And in part two of Mount Shasta, Archangel Samael burned. We cleared out all bloodshed, and cut off life support to California. And I said changes and tides will come in San Francisco. And these are in the videos on my channel. This is in the Return of Christ work. Not to mention when we activated the masculine pyramids, Kilimanjaro, Congo, British Columbia, Mount Shasta came in again because um, it was just not of light. Okay. And I've mentioned several times that changes in tides will come in through San Francisco. So yesterday I was like, is this it? Like, is it happening? And God said, remember, things have changed. The wrath path has widened, and so it's making way for bigger movement, bigger changes. But California is cut off from life support. Nothing else was. Do you feel me? When I did Nigeria, Botswana, and Zimbabwe portals, you guys, those pyramid activations, I actually said I was going to change the land there. But nothing else got cut off from life support except for California. That's not a joke. That is very real. Okay? And I get chills every time I say that. It will not remain on the map of creation. Okay, for New Earth vibration. It just won't. It's too dark. What that was kind of the beginning of the end of what happened, right? I don't know how else to say that. Watch the videos. All right. So just so you understand that, that was a precursor and a warning. So 2025 predictions and spirit need to knows. Are you ready? Are you ready to hear with me? Okay. God said, shifts of a massive kind, ones you should have already been prepared for. So the reason God bypassed some time, you'll see in that Nile video where I transitioned and then I ended up taking us through the portals. I really did. I'm going to upload that to the Path to Righteousness. It was over 18-day period time, workshops and things. And I took us through the stairway to heaven. I took us through the stairway to New Earth and through the end of ways. And so we are currently actively going through those portals on Earth now. Okay. And I also said in there why he did that. Okay, because people weren't pushing past that resistance. There were supposed to be a lot of people that rose with me that helped clear things for mankind. And a lot of ways I've had to do a lot of them on my own. And it wasn't supposed to be that way. Well, I didn't want to do it. Well, I'm tired, but I'm strong. Okay, you have to forgive me. I get a little goofy. I am plain English text, but I love my kids laugh all the time because I will be anything and everything from time to time. I love Australia, but their accent doesn't come through very good for me. Anywho, back to seriousness. 2025, God says, shifts of a massive kind, ones you should have been already being prepped for, are coming. The end of a familiar line for mankind. Okay. The end of a familiar line for mankind. Now you need to listen to these very carefully and just put them in our pocket because when I say something, it could mean exactly what I say and it could also mean many more things. Okay. Spirit is very vast and they speak in somewhat cryptic form. So in some of these things, I talk about fires. Okay. And when I talk about it, might be an actual physical fire and it might be a representation of the end of it. Does that make sense? But some of these are physical fires coming as well, they said. So let's listen. The end of a familiar line of mankind, Governmental truce. Listen to this because somebody dies. Governmental truce coming out in waves and a collapse of a false malevolent system. Governmental truce coming out in waves and a collapse of a false malevolent system. 2025. Biden dies. Oh, I just got chills. Biden dies. Okay. And Trump exposes things some are not prepared for. Collapse of a financial system. Ah, the chills were overwhelming. Trump exposes things some are not prepared for. Biden does pass away in 2025. That's what Spirit says. Collapse of a financial. Oh, the chills were overwhelming when I say that. Oh my goodness. Collapse of a financial system and systems. There's more to that too. An exposure of a new form of money control system. Elite systems will fall across the globe. So I've also tuned into the medical field, the transportation system. They say something about trains and planes and even power lines. But if you've watched the Return of Christ work I've done, I kind of told you power lines will crumble and burn and other things because it's a false system, okay? So everything from the matrix must fall. Does that mean that those that stay are going to be left with nothing? No, let's listen. Are you with me? Biden dies. That's what they said. When they said that, I'm like, ooh, okay, you really want me to say it? Like it's on here and I got it again today. So I started channeling this the other day. Okay, Trump exposes things some are not prepared for. An exposure of a new form of money control system. Okay, big shift in humanity. A divide of light and dark. Shifts in land and changes in tides. And this is actual physical land coming. Okay, so you think yesterday was something, don't get complacent thinking that it meant nothing's coming either. God says that. That is a warning and a fair warning. Okay. Um, Shifts in land and changes in tides. So that's what I told you. California was cut off from life support. I've been saying that since I cleared Mount Shasta Part 1, but also repeatedly in all of the things that I do. And then I also told you California is not safe. It's cut off from life support, meaning there will be no protections for California. And also, isn't California like the hub of Hollywood? Which is also like part of the government system too. They're all connected. You know, they're all connected. And when I was channeling missing people, Marilyn Monroe said, "What a tangled web we weave." Okay. Anyways, so shifts in land and changes in tides. This is actual physical. Okay. Water is cleansing. There's gods all over the planet now since I did Fiji part 1 and 2, and I've opened up the God portal. All of the gods in the energetic form are here and they will begin to rise and become one with those that remain. Okay. More true earth exposures and exodus of Egypt. What does that mean? Okay, wait. Hear me carefully. More true earth exposures. Okay. So you know how they talk about the inner earth? It's just a false reality crumbling into where you can see truths. Okay. More true earth oh, the chills when I said that one too, y'all. So many validations. I'm clearing something there. But this exodus of Egypt is very important because I did the Nile, Nigeria. There was lots of pyramids that I cleared in Egypt itself, but not the ones that you're familiar with, right? Um, let's see, Nigeria, Botswana, Zimbabwe, like Africa is part of the Nile, like all of that is kind of connected. Also the Sphinx, things I did, the Sphinx, Horus rose from the Sphinx. And sometimes I'm like, I thought that's where he died. And then other times I'm like, that is a portal. Did he just rise out of the portal? I've never asked specifics. I just did the work. I freed the moon, completely healed the moon, realigned the sun and the moon, and then Horus, after all darkness was cleared, the Nile was done, Horus's soul was set free and found my DM. It was pretty cool to see. That's on my channel too. So when I say the Exodus of Egypt, Also, when I was doing one of the things, I don't know if it was with the Sphinx itself or what I was doing there, but I saw all the dirt kick up and all of these things happen. So there will be a reign of justice flowing through there. And I think that's what this means, Exodus of Egypt. But I didn't really look that up. Echo, what does Exodus mean? I feel like it's like,
Exodus is usually defined as a going out, a departure or immigration, usually of a large number of people. For more, ask me to give you more definitions for Exodus.
well, there you go. Okay. So that's what I felt it like. It's a big shift in Egypt. So more true earth exposures. And it goes with the work I've done, you guys. When I was doing the pyramid activations and clearing Sphinx, something in there. I remember seeing this a couple times where the sand would kick up and like big tornado formations, which means changes in the land. And I kept saying exposures, and they need to get rid of energies that don't belong there. I said that. So I felt like that's what that meant when this was coming through. But again, spirit is very vast, okay? So don't place limitations on this message, just put them in our pocket. Big shift in humanity, a divide of the light and dark, which is already happening. Shifts in land and changes in tides. So I have actually said many, many times near Nigeria, Botswana, Zimbabwe, where I did that work, the land will shift. I've also said that changes in tides will come in through San Francisco, through the bridge there. I've seen that wiping out the bridge and people screaming and didn't know it was coming. And then I've also said that California is not safe and it will become very much so wiped out. Whatever that means, right? So, and now we have also more truth earth exposures. So the true earth will rise and the false one will crumble, physically and spiritually speaking, God's saying, physically and spiritually speaking. And then the exodus of Egypt. Also, that's part of the Nile wrath. Sekhmet has returned. Okay, so watch that. Further development and activity of pyramid activations, portals exposed. So the pyramids that I activated, there were 13 of them, I believe. It was Indonesia, Fiji, Myanmar, Machu Picchu, Budapest, Thailand. Those were all feminine ones, and there might have been more. And then there was Kilimanjaro, Congo, British Columbia, Ecuador. Yeah, Ecuador. There's 13 of them. Okay, so further development and activity. So I see things happening around those portals, and those are what's sparking a lot of the earthquake activity. Since I've done them, we have gone up in earthquake activity, fires, things like that. I would actually talk about those the coming when I would do the pyramid activations. Kilimanjaro one, I talked about the White House burning. I also talked about a fire coming in Hawaii, and then days later, the Lahaina fire occurred. Okay, I actually said I needed to move it over because I didn't want to lose all of Hawaii, and I kept saying fires, 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 and then it happened. So, what you have to watch a pyramid to understand what this means: further development and activity. Things in physical form and spiritual form. This is both physical to the earth and spiritual. For 2025 coming forward, there will be further development and activity of pyramid activations and portals exposed. So we are now rising through those portals. Those portals are the pyramid activations. That's what caused them. Rising the earth and frequency. Okay? A shift in mentality of the collective soul. Watching my time because I have a healing today. Okay, listen to this one. A shift in I wrote it, I was channeling it all. So some of my handwriting, I'm like, what? What? Okay, anyways. Shift in mentality of the collective soul, bringing some back to the whole of the one. Okay. Religion exposed. Okay. Sudden death of the Pope was written, but I didn't get clarification on that, so I put a question mark. Religion exposed, more than you know, because I undid the Sistine Chapel. And I've also, all religion has to fall. I've called back the Jewish symbol, which was the Merkabah. I've called back all the symbols that were divided. It was everything of God's light was divided and separated, and it can't be that way anymore. So it's all been called back to the whole, and I've talked about that. So, and I also did the Sistine Chapel, and I had to like spray everything with the blood of Christ. And there was another way of anointing of the blood of Christ, okay? And so bringing back the truth of God, we are all connected in the heart space. There is no division. God is only love. There's no evil, right? Like God doesn't use that word ever. If I use that word, it's not from God. It's just darkness and light, okay? And that's where the division lies right now. We cannot be duality anymore. So, religion is more exposures of religion and something about a sudden death of the Pope and more than you know, okay? Those are what was said. Expansion of a limited mind, biggest shift ever of mankind. Okay. Then I said, release fear, make harmony with the past. Okay. The biggest shift of mankind is here at last. Realignment to the reign of Christ. So this year coming forward is realignment to the reign of Christ. Reign, R-E-I-N, not like rain, like power, right? Justice to rectify the past. Okay, there's more. Are you with me? This is all what's coming forward. Now remember, just because we're in a calendar year of 2025, that yearly stuff, the time thing is going to shift. Time is a part of the shift. Time is a part of the shift. Doo doo. So they had everything shortened. In birthing the new earth, when I recreated the seasons, they will elongate and we will have no severes. When the earth needs rain, guess what? It's going to rain. When she needs sunshine, she will have sunshine. Okay? We will have seasons, but they will be elongated. And when the earth needs something, the heavens will provide. That's the new earth. There will be no extremes, no divides, no suffrage, no control. This is true. Okay. All right. You ready? Okay, so I asked God again, I was like, what happened yesterday? What was the 7.0, 7.3? I don't know who you're listening to, earthquake. And then the warning for a tsunami coming in through San Francisco. They even evacuated the whole area and then it never came, right? And so what's going to happen now? People are going to probably be like, nah, we're good. He said it was a warning and a precursor for what is to come. You will never be told when, but trust it does. Okay? Because I told you, I cleared Mount Shasta. This is the Nile portal. This is the end times painting. And then I just completed the new earth painting. So I've completed it. I have not hung it up yet, but this is now the new. So I did the Nile painting as I was taking us into the portals. And then God said, okay, paint this one. And I got an image. And so then I painted the new earth painting. Okay. So like everything I've done in the Return of Christ, well, most of the differences and the things were painted. I have the 7D painting up there you can't see. Okay. So, oh yeah. And yesterday, I don't know if I said this. After it happened, I was meditating and doing my healing light movement stuff because I do it for myself. And a crow came and he said, big changes are coming. And I was like, cool, cool. Crows have always been a part of the journey, especially when I was doing the Return of like Jesus timeline. When I was undoing the Holy Grail, I was surrounded by crows everywhere I went. People would get overwhelmed. I'm like, it's all good. I got used to it. I love my crows. So I had a crow come yesterday while I was meditating, when everybody else was talking about and kind of posting about the 7.0. And I'm like, well, that wasn't it. You know what I mean? That's a warning. And I knew that then, but I meditated and a crow came into my energy and said, big changes are coming. They're messengers of change. Okay? Crows are messengers of change. All right? So, a warning, precursor of what is to come. You will never be told when, but trust it does. It is important for you to let go of the shackles of the mind, as they are what will leave you behind. Okay? Structures will crumble and shifts will occur. Now, they want me to remind you, we will all have different experiences because this is a karmic play out. Structures will crumble and shifts will, you have to have all karma cleared to rise, okay? Shifts will occur. And I've talked many times about what is karma. It's not so scary, but it deals with the structures, the shackles of the mind. Okay? So structures will crumble and shifts will occur from structures of false to a balance of light and pure sovereignty. This is for 2025, but remember, this is going forward in general. Then I asked, what is the end of 2025? And got nothing. Okay. Structures will crumble and shifts will occur from structures of false to a balance of light and pure sovereignty. Beings of light will now rise and be in full view under the light of the one, the sun, and the moon. Now, if you've watched the work that I've done, my DM is the moon and I am the sun. The eye of Horus is on the left side, the eye of Ra is on the right of your brain. And in order to get full activations of those, you have to release all shackles of the mind and be pure sovereign and love and joy and connected through the heart space. Okay? Sounds kookaloo, sounds movie-esque, but it's very real. Okay, I couldn't make this stuff up if I tried. And this painting was done before I did the Sistine Chapel, and a whole bunch of souls rose from that. Okay, and all the crosses burned and the Bible, and it was like all this darkness being exposed. Okay, it's like false. It was false. And then also, I did the Nile a while ago. So I just thought this was the Nile painting, but it's everything. There's the pyramids, and then also there's San Francisco and a big earthquake in the water. Okay, and a volcano. All right. So, beings of light, you know how they talk a lot about the 144,000? Beings of light, they will be more exposed. Those that are rising will be seen more and more. Our truths, the light will all be exposed. You know how we were being shamed and blamed, and even like when the V came out, like some of us were like shunned if we didn't take it, right? Some of us were like, no, I ain't touching that. Something's wrong with it. And they would tell us that we were the problem. So, there was a lot of conspiracy theories, which how can you call it a conspiracy theory now when, like, how can you deny it at this point, right? You know what I'm saying? But there's a difference. So I asked God about that too. I'm like, some people see what I see, but they go to the extreme. They go kind of cray cray. They end up killing people. The end is coming and they kill somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like, whoa. So there's a difference between truth and somebody who's wounded, right? Somebody who can't see all of the truth. They can see maybe some things. Fear gets involved. They want to fear mongrel. They want to control your decisions. You know what I mean? And so you have to know within the know. Does that make sense? Know within the know, and you only know before you know. You don't know until you know, you know? All right, let's get back to this. Listen very carefully. So beings of light will rise and be in full view because the veil has been demolished. That was part of Mount Shasta. Under the light of the one, the sun, and the moon. Also at Mount Shasta, I returned the triangle with the eye back to Fiji over the God portal. So Christ consciousness has been returned and activated. I did all of that. Okay. Listen carefully because I got a walk-in DM. I don't know this one, but I know my original. The new DM has not stepped forward as to where I know him. I don't know him yet. I feel him and I love him, but I fell in love with him internally. I already love him. Let me tell, I already love him. He is already very important to me. I was watching scary movies yesterday and then I felt his love and I'm like, it's okay. It's a scary movie. Anywho, so the DM will be introduced to you either on his own or through no veil presence of illusion. So if he doesn't choose to rise on his own, it may be to where I finally just see who he is. Sparks of kindness, love will begin to shine through what was dormant and unaware. These are very vast, so listen to this many times over if you need to. I know it sounds simple, but they're never simple. Sparks of kindness, love will begin to shine through what was dormant and unaware. It's like major awakenings. People will rise to love. Now listen to this one. The Tower of London. And I was like, the Tower of London. And so I kind of looked up what are the towers of London, and they named off a few. And then I got so many chills when they said the Queen's Tower, and I was like, oh, on my videos. Um, the skin fell off of King Charles and his wife and stuff. And I also did a thing on, um, oh my God, I'm sorry, my brain farted. Diana, Princess Diana years ago, when I was doing the murder mystery stuff before I did the Return of Christ stuff and fully came into New Earth. But yeah, there was darkness there. So the Tower of London burning to the ground. Queen's Tower will crumble. Big changes are coming here too. The Tower of London burning to the ground. Queen's Tower will crumble. Big changes are coming here too. Now listen to this one. Okay, I said the Tower of London. So I told you some big things are coming through. Fires of an unprecedented nature will occur, will suddenly come. Fires of an unprecedented nature will suddenly come this year. And I do see fires, leaving some vulnerable and exposed. And I get chills when I say that one too. Okay, so the Tower of London burning to the ground. The Queen's Tower will crumble, like a tower moment, right? Blah, blah, blah. Big changes are coming there too. And by the way, you want to know who made the V and the whole virus thingy? Was us, United States, and the United Kingdom together. So we are not separate. We do things a little differently, but we are totally connected. So fires of an unprecedented nature will suddenly come, leaving some vulnerable and exposed. And if you want to know where, they didn't tell you where. A lot of times they're not going to because they're not here to create fear. What they're here to do is get you to see, to rise up and let everything else go, because we're going to have different experiences. And those that are rising can't focus on the darkness and can't focus on the fall. We have to focus on the rise. Which is why I wasn't on going, oh my God, I told you there was going to be changes in tides coming in through San Francisco. It hasn't even happened yet, right? That was a warning though. I already know I cut off California. I already know what's to come. So I was the only one that, we'll see when it's time. I knew it wasn't quite there, but it's coming. That's a big one coming to a bigger one, okay? Okay, so then we have shifts in weather patterns and seasons. Leave some guessing the reasons. Listen to this one again. Shifts in weather patterns and seasons. I told you I did that already. Leaving some guessing the reasons. Do you want to know something really cool in the Return of Christ work? You can find it on my channel. It's in the playlist. It's on here. It's on there. When Atlantis fell, because I saw myself die, I saw all of that, I actually had to process what happened to Adam and Eve when my DM and I united on that level and stuff. But when Atlantis fell, okay, ties into Mount Shasta, it all ties together, okay? There were some gods, angelic presence gods, big beings of light that ran to Newgrange, Ireland. They escaped and they ran to Newgrange, Ireland. Okay, that was not Lemuria necessarily. Listen to this, because I did this. This is why I brought the full power of the sun through into the ley lines, was at Newgrange, Ireland, because they shifted there when the seasons shifted. All this stuff happened. Life shortened, life expectancy shortened because they messed with the moon and the sun and all of that. And so these beings went to Newgrange, Ireland, and they created these portals of light. It's like ley lines. I'm getting chills. And I didn't know this till I did the work. It's on my channel though, you can watch it. And so it's like full power of the sun return video. So they created these ley line portals there, like a protection for themselves, because big shifts were happening. They messed with the seasons, they messed with the life expectancy and things. And they knew they weren't safe where they were. So they went to Newgrange, Ireland, and they created this most beautiful, like ley line portals. And when I brought down the full power of the sun, that's where I shoved it into, and then into the core of the earth and all over the earth. It was amazing. Check that one out, okay? Okay. Okay, so we're moving on. More to come. So, darkness will fall as the light rises. Okay? Darkness will fall as the light rises. Justice system crumbles and is reformed. Now here we go into the justice system. The justice system crumbles and is reformed, will not be needed at all in new earth. Karma has its way. Municipal building will crumble and fall. Make way for God's justice once and for all. Okay. Medical field. Power of light will be called home, and all will know truths of their own, because we are all healers. We're meant to be. I always questioned when I was younger why I had to go to somebody else to tell me what was happening inside of me. It didn't make sense to me. I was always like, how do they know more about what's inside of me than I do? Like I was questioning that hardcore, and now I know I didn't know as a healer back then. Now it makes sense because as a master healer, I heal everything, and I do mean everything. I prove that to myself time and time again through all my healings. I do them all the time. Matter of fact, I did one yesterday, and it's somebody I'm still kind of new with, and I was running through, and in the end, every time she's like, "Yep, that was right. That's where my pain is. How did you know?" And it's like I see the inside of your body. So the medical field is built on false pretenses. It's like, again, kind of like religion. It's like a division of light. They took a power of healing, and all these medications and things are not good for the body. So power of the light will be called home, and all will know truths of their own. They'll be able to, like, we should be able to hear our bodies. We should be able to feel our bodies. It tells you everything, and we forgot that. We were cut off from that ability. Karma will reign, and light, love, true healing returned once again. Okay. So, as far as the medical field goes, I feel like on some aspects, like, we will combine some things. But as a most part, it was not built in the light. And God said that as I was doing some of the Return of Christ work, He said the medical field was not created in the light. So it can't remain the same. Okay. Bitcoin came up. Bitcoin, for all you Bitcoin fan addicts, fans, members, whatever. The bottom will fall out. Been controlled the whole time, part of a system undone. All value will be lost in and of the matrix, a returned back to the light of the one, the path of the sun. Railways and airplanes came up as well. Malfunctions coming and power lines must go. So there are malfunctions coming to railways and airplanes, and I do mean like maybe some like all of a sudden dropping. Like electricity issues, you feel me? That's because it's like tied into the power lines here. And so I was like seeing like electricity issues. Power grid collapse and shift and leave a massive rift. That's what they said. Power grid collapse and shift and will leave a massive rift. What does that mean? Well, don't know, but I don't think I have to worry because I'm already rising. Technology will transform to quantum levels of 7D. Okay. So transportation, I asked specifically about the cars that we have. The cars that you know will change and grow. Some will become a way of the past, and new technologies arrive at last. Galactic transportation. Transportation will evolve to a galactic level. We have spaceships and things, you know what I'm saying? There is technology that we did not have access to. It's not that the government wasn't aware of it. We didn't have access to. They made sure of that. And science is not even evolved enough yet, okay? God said that many times. You see how some people fight about the earth being round and flat? It's both. God showed me it's like a ball with a gyrosphere. Like you have the flat plane inside of a circular existence. And anywhere the earth shifts, that flat plane remains flat. Okay, so the earth is actually both round and flat. They're actually kind of detaching from the system and they're limited in mind space. Okay, so transportation will become more of a galactic transportation. Now, some of this is like I can literally, as a master healer, when I had my awakening, and I was freaked some people out, and it even freaked me out a little bit at first. And I'm going to tell you right now, is you can't do anything against free will. So those who do the remote viewing without permission from the other side are not operating within the light. So Big deal. But I can literally come out of myself and go places. I did it a lot when I first started healings. I would come out of my vessel and I would see myself at a soul level, like light. And I would just all of a sudden go to where they were. It's like immediate there. And I would be there with them. And that's how I would do the healings. I would see something that let me know that I could convey to them that I was there. So slippers they were wearing, something I wouldn't know. And I would say, I saw this. And they would be like, how'd you see that? And I would literally put my hands on them and run the light through that way. Not to mention, I did something with Mr. T back then, giving him a paper. I didn't know what it was, and I saw the White House. I saw the people standing there in their khaki pants, like these black kind of shirts, jackets with like these ties and like these little thingies and like these thingies in their ears. And I was walking through the lawn, and I went to an office where they don't show you on TV, like nobody's aware of it. It's like his personal office. And I remember being with people. Like, I don't know how, I still don't fully understand it to this day because I'm like, did I embody somebody else's body? I think I did. Like, I don't get it. So I ended up handing him a paper, and the paper was upside down. I don't know what was on it. This was a few years ago. This was back when I first started doing the work. During a meditation, I just went there and this is what I saw. Handed him the paper and I was scared. I was like, are they going to see me? Are they going to, I kept thinking that, are they going to see me? Like I knew I was there. I knew it was real. And I was like, they're going to see me. Oh my gosh. And I handed him this paper and then I skedaddled. So I don't know the totality of what that was, but transportation is not necessarily done and will continue to be done in the limited mind space of third dimensional construct. It is going to transition into a seventh dimensional plane of existence. Okay. So can we have teleportation? In some ways? Yeah. Okay. May not be the way you think it is all the time, but in some ways, yeah, yeah. All right. So that's what they said. Okay, we have Biden dying. We have the Queen's Tower crumbling. We have shift of land and water. That was the London Tower, by the way. We also have something with the Pope coming. Something about a sudden death of a Pope. I'm not sure if that meant this Pope will die or a Pope of the past. I don't know. That one was not completely clear, so we just have to put this in our pockets. I didn't ask details, like it's enough. So I already know what I've done and I know what's been exposed, so nothing is surprising to me. The justice system will crumble, karma has its way, municipal building will crumble and fall, the medical field, the power of the light will be called home, so they will lose access to things. Karma will also have to be placed. Okay, healing returned to the whole once again. All right. The money systems will fall. Railways and airplanes, like these are like structures collapsing. So, does that mean that things can happen that aren't exactly kosher and exciting? Yes. Can airplanes maybe suddenly fall out of the sky? It's quite possible. Can trains all of a sudden derail at a more mass level? It's quite possible. Okay. That's what it means by malfunctions coming. Like the structures, the power system must go. Okay. Power grid collapse and shift, and it will leave a massive rift. And then all of a sudden the seasons will shift and leave some wondering why, right? Did I say that? Where did I say that? Oh, an exodus of Egypt. Where did I say that? Because it was pretty cool how they said it. Shift in weather patterns and seasons leaves some guessing the reasons. Okay. I know why, because I know what I did, but you have to be open to see that. You have to be open to process that through your heart space, because you'll find me deep in your heart space. So remember the earthquake and the warning of the tsunami yesterday was just a warning for what's to come and a precursor, but you will never know when, just know that it will. Structures will crumble and structures will crumble, shifts will occur, bringing balance back to the light, pure sovereignty applied. Okay, so you have your power back. You just have to let go of the shackles of the mind. The DM will be introduced to you either on his own he only like he, has so long he can do that, or through no veil presence of illusion. Sparks of kindness, love will begin because you can't hide truths, right? In the new earth, we can't hide things. Plus, it's in our heart space. So consider that with the DM, as much as I will rise in people's heart spaces, he will as well. Um, Sparks of kindness, no veil of presence of illusion. Sparks of kindness, love will begin to shine through what was dormant and aware. That Tower of London got me. I'm like, what is this? And the Queen's Tower is what resonated. So we will see. Queen's Tower will crumble. Big changes are coming there too. Fires of unprecedented nature will suddenly come, leaving some vulnerable and exposed, like waves of fire. I see it like waves because consider fire's an element, and one that I also called back from the pentagram. Shifts in weather patterns and seasons, leaving some guessing the reasons. Darkness will fall and light will rise. Now, I will read to you what God said. I asked specifically, some will go, some will stay, and some will never know life this way. That is Judgment Day. Okay. God says it's not Judgment Day. That's a false religion concept. It is justice served. It is karmic play out applied. Okay. So you reap what you sow day. And this is what God said specifically about, I asked, who will go? Who will stay? Like, what does it mean? If you go, are like, okay, here's what I kind of wanted clarity to is like, I know I'm rising, but we have this concept of rising, right? So are those rising going to stay here? Because I did the work to the earth. I've also birthed the new earth, and I know we're going to split. So some of us will have different experiences than others. This is true. So it's a little bit like, what does this mean? Some will stay and some will go. Who will go and who will stay? Are those rising going or are those rising staying? This is what I wanted clarity to. And this is what God said. Justice served, heart reviews applied. Some will rise to blue skies. Okay. Then they said, some will see the error of their ways through karmic ties and clear it out on the other side. Some will go. Or others will never know life this way. Okay. Not of light. Okay. Some will seek to higher ground where only love can be found. That's what God said. I'm going to read it again. What does it mean for Judgment Day? Some will go, some will stay, some will never know life this way. Justice is served, heart reviews applied. Some will rise to blue skies. Justice served. Some will never know life this way. Heart reviews applied. Some will go to the other side to clear their karma because you can't do it here anymore. Some will rise to blue skies, so they will seek higher ground where only love can be found. Some will see the error of their ways. They can see it because we have to see through karmic ties and clear it out on the other side because Earth is no longer a karmic planet. Cannot be duality here anymore. And then those few that will never know life this way is the darkness. They have been cut off from light completely. They've been cut off from light completely. Those are the ones that will never know life this way. Some would call that hell. God does not. It's just void. They have no power of the light anymore. They can't see the light anymore. They will never be able to attach to the light anymore. And they will never be able to hurt anybody anymore. That's the splitting of the earth, okay? And then some will seek to higher ground where only love can be found. That's the new earth. Those have to rise through the light of the sun and the one. Some will seek to higher ground, rising in frequency. They will see beyond the illusions of the mind. Those are the blue skies. You see how this came through? I loved it. So this is it. Justice served, heart reviews applied. Some will go and some will never know life this way. Some will rise to blue skies. So if you want to break that down even more, some will see the error of their ways through karmic ties and clear it out on the other side. Or some will never know life this way. Some will seek to higher ground where only love can be found. Mic drop. That's 2025 in review. What's a coming? God also says, Some events he won't speak of. Some events God will not tell you. I see some people do a lot of prophetic things and it's a lot of negative events that they're talking about. I know for a fact that God does not focus on negativity. That is not something that God would want to do. Okay. He doesn't want you taking joy in other people's demise either. Okay. Even those that may have hurt you, they don't want you taking joy in them being served karma because that's not what it's about. We're about love and unity and creation and coming together under the sun. All right. So some of us will have a different experience of rising to blue skies. But for those that sit here and focus on the negativity and the demise and and call it prophetic insights, they're seeing a different side of the coin that I'm seeing. So if you want me to tell you every detail of what's to come in 2025, I'm not going to be able to because it won't be my experience. It won't be the experience of those rising. Okay? We are going to have different experiences as these breath of ways play out. I don't call it time, it's breath of ways, okay? Breath of life. As our breath continues, because to have a breath is a gift. That's your capability of being here. Can I breathe? I'm alive. Okay. Every breath is a moment in space. Do you feel me? So that's kind of how God attributes time. So, like, I can't sit here and say, oh my gosh, this is going to fall. This is like, wait till you see this. I don't want to focus on that. I want to focus on raising my vibration and seeing things from a beautiful space of light, seeing all the beauty and the joy and the creations and the abundance and love coming together in love. I don't want to focus on fear. I don't want to focus on anything else that will not be my reality. Because we are creators and you are free. And so the more you focus on others' karmic demise or exposures and these tornadoes are coming, like different things that are coming, the more that plays out in your reality. So we don't want to do that. We want to focus on love and union and unity and not necessarily a structure falling because Sekhmet, right? That's who I am. That's who I've come here to do is destroy what does not belong so we can rebuild anew. We want to focus on the rebuilding. We want to focus on the light rising, on abundance and love and joy, but also coming together in transparency, being willing to step outside of the illusion, being willing to push past that fear. Those are the shackles of the mind. Okay? So don't torture yourself. Don't worry about what's going to fall. Just know it will. Worry about, am I love? Am I light? And am I making the choices in that? Okay. Am I surrounding myself with beauty and grace and love delight, with abundance and power and creation and joy, and spending my days creating from the heart space rather than waiting for what's about to fall? Because that's what I'm doing. I'm meditating a lot. I'm getting up in the morning and exercising my butt off. Oh my gosh, I have sweat so hard the last few days from exercising. I'm like, I'm getting my body back, okay? What are you focusing on matters. And others might be like, how can we focus on this when this is coming and I'm scared? Don't be afraid. Heal and rise. Look for those blue skies. You are a powerful creator. Do not worry. Love. Do not worry, come together. Okay? We are going to have groups of light who are here in a balance of creation with the earth. So that's what we want to pay attention to. The earth's not going to die. It may seem like it because I did process her death, but I also processed her rebirth. She's being reborn, and you should be too, right? No fear, don't worry. We will call things in from the heart space. So you just focus on getting open to that heart space. Don't worry about the Nile. Don't worry about the pyramids. Don't worry about, well, the pyramids are about lessons. Okay. So you just need to learn about you, learn about where you're outside of love, learn about how do I think in a higher light? How do I vision only love and light and joy, even if other things are falling? But it's when you look at it from the lens of growth and rising and love and new earth and new birth and God again, woo woo. But when you look at it like, oh my God, that we're about to lose all this stuff and I have to da 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 da, your lens is everything. Your lens is everything. Okay? So is 2025 going to have some big stuff coming? Yeah, we are no matter what. You cannot stop what's been done. You cannot stop what's been done. But you can choose love. You can choose to rise. You can see blue skies. Okay? This was 2025 in review. Boom. So much love, my friends. I'm going to go finish putting my new soaps and packagings. These, I love these. This is turmeric and charcoal. Oh my gosh, it's so yummy. I have to mail off a package. I've got a healing session at 1 o'clock. Like, that's what I'm doing. I'm creating my reality from my joys, and I'm making sure I am calling back all my power all the time, coming back into a state of pure love and joy and a healthy routine. And I'm kicking my own ass, getting my body healthy and beautiful, partly for my DM, but mostly for me. So, because I want to be sexy. You know what I'm saying? So don't sit here and go, oh, look what I don't have this, I don't have that. Look what's coming. I'm scared. Nope. I'm excited. I'm in joy. I need to do what I can do. Where's my power? I can worry about my body. I can worry about my spiritual routine. I can worry about creating through joy and discipline. I need to be disciplined now because I'm no longer being controlled unless I choose that. That's my free will. So much love, my friends. Have a beautiful day ahead. I hope you enjoy this video and all other videos on this channel because there's a lot to see and process. So I encourage you to like and subscribe and stick around, but truly just watch the videos and watch them until they make sense because they are real Return of Christ work. It's very real. It's very vast. Some of the videos on this channel, I'm talking to you. The other ones are the actual work that I was bringing through and processing through as part of my own awakening and ended up realizing who I was through and through in the end. So that's what we're here to do. Okay? All right. So much love. Oh, I have a free the Hertz Healing channel. I'm kind of morphing into more of like spell casting abundance and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So enjoy it. I was like, I'm not feeling it. Something's different. My old DM, when I had my first twin soul, I knew my joys. And I have to tell you, some of those have shifted since I got my new DM. I'm like, something's different. And so I'm spending my time getting to know the and growing and developing into new forms of creation through our connection. So I hope you're doing the same. Okay? Through your own heart space. Who are you? Get to know you. Dig deep, dive deep, and release what is not. Till next time. Hasta la vista, baby.